Hey guys, so the first impression you're probably getting is yes, I finally succumbed to the quarantine buzz cut, which I think I did okay. And also, the guy in front of me has succumbed as well, as you will see from the clips of us that aren't from today.
Alright, Marky.
How are you getting on?
Not too bad in yourself?
I'm just a bit tired,
Yeah, same as myself, man.
I gotta say, as soon as I started doing this, I was like, when can I get Jordan on here? Because, I've been really looking forward to this interview the most.
Yeah, no, I'm a bit happy to be on it. It's first interview I'm actually doing, so
Really, yeah.
happy
I
with
think
that.
a lot of
Yeah,
people are doing their first ones with me, so hopefully I don't fuck up.
yeah, yeah. No, you're alright. Sorry to
So,
fuck up.
so, for the people who don't know, this is Jordan Lennon, an actor, musician, filmmaker, YouTuber, and full-time mad bastard, I assume.
Full time. No, that's not me. You got the wrong lad.
I always dreamt of a life of joy and success, but you don't understand till you're smacked to the chest and you're buried in the dirt and smacked up and not sympathised, told to get back up. But life took a huge toll, even took to the extremes, but things looked up, I found a girl of my dreams.
Yeah. So a bit about me. Yeah. So I'm obviously an actor, musician as well. I don't know fucking why.
Because you're
And
good at
then
it.
yeah, I fucking hope so. For the amount of time I put into it.
Mhm.
And then and a filmmaker as well, yeah. So started doing acting. I was doing acting a lot as a kid, and then I went on to do it longer, as in like started off when roughly when I was around 9 or 10, and that just started off with small kind of obviously like kind of low quality videos, more kind of theatre type of videos that we done. We've done that alongside my brother Jackson, and after that happened, we went on to do a bit more acting. I started doing more stuff in school, so like primary schools were just asking me to do plays and do we done a comedy show for one, and it was called they called it Joey Jokers. So I went to a school called St. Joseph's National School, so they called us the Joey Jokers, and it was me and two other guys. As far as I can remember, it was myself, another friend called Darren, and another friend called Keen as well, and we started doing comedy. We had to do comedy jokes the whole entire time, but people liked them, so we I think we've done a second show of it then, and then it became like a school type of little team thing, and then it slowly kind of faded off after that. And after we stopped doing that, I really wanted to get back up on stage, but not to do it theatre way. So um, as growing up, we suffered a lot with housing. So we constantly moved from house to house because I was raised from a single parent, and constantly being moved ship shaped like kind of everywhere. Uh, the lads who were in my primary school, they kind of knew that I was going back and forth the whole entire time. Most of the my mates that I had in the mates I did have in primary school, they knew that I was going back and forth. So, um, but they all knew I loved acting. But the problem was we were not financially stable for me to take classes or anything like that. So it was always just a skill thing, type of kind of creation that we all kind of made of it, because it was affordable. And yeah, so we kept going house to house, and I think I've moved 6 times so far.
Wow.
Yeah, we went from Ballymun to Portlaoise, back to Ballymun, from Ballymun to Coolock, from Coolock to Swords, Swords to Airfield, and Airfield to Finglas, and then that's without me even like because we obviously I'd seen my dad for a while, and when I'd seen my dad for a while, he moved houses, so we were going from everywhere. We ended up in Skerries, like
Mhm.
all over the shop, like you couldn't fucking keep up. But yeah, the one thing we always brought with us was like comedy sketches and all these like acting type of things. It was good to get out of the zone of what was going on in your life. So that was kind of how we acted it all out, and me and my brother just loved it. We grew up with it, and then the I wanted to try and branch out a bit more. I don't know whether you remember it, but there was a guy called Niga Higa, and he was an Asian guy from America who made all these skits, and he had a best friend who just came over, but he ended up becoming a viral sensation. He became like one of the biggest YouTubers in America, and then he quickly like died down like very very fast. But he used to make these videos called like how to be a ninja, how to do this and all. It was all really stupid. It was just comedy though. And me and Jack used to always watch it as kids and go, "Oh, we need to do something like that." and we'd have like our Sony Ericsson phone, which would like be like 0.2 megapixels, and we'd sit on the corner of our like wall, and we go, right, let's do it, and we record and we go for it, and and what actually happened was we got really into all these skits and all that type of stuff, and we just kept it going all the time. And it got to one point then, I remember I was about 11, no, actually, in the estate we lived in Airfield, a lot of people, a lot of different people started joining in with us, what we were doing. And it actually became it was almost like a community type of thing that we made it into. So we had literally ranges of ages. So it got to a point where we wanted so many people in our videos. We were just asking random people on the street. We were like, "Do you want to just do something with us for like real quick?" And I remember it was so weird because when you think back to it now, it's kind of like, why are we doing that? But it was just kids being kids. So we were like, what, 11, maybe 10, 11. We were asking everybody, like we were asking like people who had babies to like put their baby in as like a little skit or something like that. And then we were asking like people on the road who were like 4 and 5, like, oh, jump in the video as well. And then people who were 7 and 8 jumping in the video. Then we had people who were like 13, 14, 15. It was just, it became a thing where we couldn't even keep up what was actually being done in the videos. The videos had no context really. It was really just kind of like, we'd say, oh, there's a bank robbery happen. And it would literally be my brother walking with a bag of money in his hand and some random person just on the road just walking over and grabbing it and running away, and we title it bank robbery and all. It made no sense. But the one thing that always kept us occupied is that um the community and our like our mom and dad and all that, and people, everyone's friends and type of stuff like that, they all kept asking like, when's your next video, when's your next video, and all this, and that's what kind of got us into it.
Yeah.
And after that, like as a child, I've always looked at movies and said like, I'd love to be in this movie, I'd love to be in this movie and all that.
Same.
And I never knew how to get there, do you get me?
Mhm.
And I think it was roughly when I was around I think I was 13, and I'd said to my mom again, I was like, I'd love to do acting. But every time I thought about acting, I always seen it on TV, and I was like, that doesn't look like the acting that I'm being told to do. And I didn't know that there was a diversity between screen and theatre, and I never knew that. And it was only until I actually started looking around at places, I was like, you know, I really would love to do screen acting. But the thing was that I didn't know I was already a screen actor myself because I was making videos and put
Yeah.
myself in them. So, but without me noticing, I was actually doing it, and that was the best part because when I started doing acting classes, then they were kind of telling us stuff about cameras and all that, and me and Jack were already a step ahead, so we knew kind of what they were talking about. And yeah, it just kind of, it was around third day when I'd moved to Finglas. Then we finally, it was the last stop, because the renting scheme had given, we were given the house as our actual house, and then me, whatever way it worked, the finances, the way the money worked in the end, it actually meant that by us taking the house, we would have been left with more money than what we would have previously had. Like we literally couldn't. We got to one point where like one of our houses, the last house that we were in before we moved here, had no heat and we couldn't pay for it, and like literally like we went really really bad really quickly. But thank God we like got the house when we did, because things looked really really bad before it happened. And yeah, so we took the move, and we took it as a loss, and my mom took it as a game because my mom's actually from Finglas, so she was born and bred here. So that's kind of how that worked. So after that happened, we moved here. It just kind of moved. It moved from that then. So uh, we just ended up paying like €100 a term for acting, and then before we knew it, I started doing auditions. I started doing all this type of stuff, and then I ended up in a Mel Gibson movie for some reason. I don't know how the
That's
fuck
right.
that happened. Yeah, I don't know how that happened. And then but unfortunately I didn't make the director's cut. But like, you know, I won't take it as a loss. I still, at least still done it. Like, but I could send you the picture to put in
I
this.
think I've seen it.
Um,
It's on Star now, isn't it?
yeah, it is. Yeah, yeah, it's on side now. Yeah. I got on a phone call off my mom. She just said, your agent's at the call. And I was just like, okay, what's up? And then you were like, it's an emergency call. You need to get out here. You need to get out. Where are you right now? And I said, I'm in Ballymun. I'm in the Access Theatre. Like, and she said, right, get out. And I was like, what is going on? I thought something genuinely, I was like, someone's at the door in my family. Like, and I left, and I was like, I don't want to know what this is. And by the time I left, got out, she said to me, there's an emergency audition. The agent wants you down right now. Meet me outside the Access, and I'm gonna drive you straight up. Keep your uniform on, take your jumper off, take your tie off, walk in, white shirt, black slacks. I was like, okay, no problem. So we done it, went straight in, and we had ended up in Bow Street,
Oh,
and I went upstairs. Went straight upstairs and into this place. It was kind of like a small, little, luxurious type of waiting room. It wasn't really a waiting room. It was more like a waiting hall, and I was just sitting in this big red velvet lounger, and I was just like talking to this other guy who was auditioning for the role of my father, to play my father, like, and he was just like, I've been doing this years. If you don't get it, it's okay. And I was like,
yeah.
okay, that actually makes me have a bit more confidence.
Mhm.
And after that happened, I remember my mom was in more panic than I was. That was what made me the worst part about it. And she was just like, oh, John, like, yeah, oh, please, hope to God you get this and all. And I was just like, Mark, come on, stop. You're actually making me lose confidence. I said, I need to be as relaxed as possible here. So we went in, done the audition. They just told me to do expressions. I done the expressions and stuff like that. And then after that happened, I remember I got out and I left the audition, and my mom was looking at me and she was like, so how do you think you did? How do you think you did and all? And I was like, do you know what, mom? I don't really, it doesn't matter to me how I've done. I said I was confident in it though, I know that, and I walked away. I walked away with a win anyways, because if I don't get it, I still at least I got asked to do the audition, to try and be
Mhm.
Sean Penn as a kid. Like I was like that kind of sounds so important. Like,
Mhm.
and then I remember we were just, it was about 2 or 3 days later, and we just fucking, like, I just kind of forgot about it. Then I was just like, look, it probably passed me by, and my mom was like, no, no, I don't think it passed you, boy. Just don't think about it that way. And I remember we were, I was on, it was TY, because I was on another trip then. We were at the Coca-Cola factory out in League Slip or something like that. And I think it's in League Slip anyways. And what
Sounds
happened was
great
we were
like
just,
it.
yeah, no, I'm not gonna check. But when we were out, my teacher walked over to me, a very close teacher of mine, as in he done a lot for us, like, and he came over to me because the teacher's actually was actually friends with my mom before I even had him as a teacher, like, and he came over to me and goes, Jordan, your ma's on the phone for you, and I'm there going like, what is this all about? And I answered the phone, but he starts smiling when he hands me the phone, like, and I goes hello, and she goes, what was it? She goes, do you want to know something? And I said, what? And she started screaming. She goes, you got it, you got it, you got it. And I was just there going like, what? Got what? And she was like, the audition for the movie. And I was like, you messing? She was like, no, no, you got the audition, you got the audition. And I remember just going like, I was pure shocked. And my teacher's there looking at me laughing, like just smiling and just saying like, you happy and all. And I just literally goes, oh, I don't even know what to say. Like, and I remember when I left that was when we were actually leaving the whole factory, and I couldn't get it out of my head. I was just like, "This is crazy. Like, this is real life. Like, I'm after getting there and blah blah blah." And I remember I was outside, and I'd said to myself, "This has finally happened. Like, I've actually finally kind of achieved this. And then where do I go now?" Type of thing. And I remember just the one thing that was on my mind when I was driving home was I was kind of saying to myself, "Is this the break, or is this not the break?" And if it is the break, then like I'm extremely grateful for it. But if it's not the break, I just need to work harder to get the next one. And I was kind of on a big positivity thing then, and then by the time I'd actually gotten home, my agent was just banging me ma's phone out, just saying like, "Oh, Jordan needs to get this, Jordan needs to get that, Jordan," and my mom was literally just saying, like, it was almost like my mom was my manager at that point, because she was just like, "You need to go here, you need to do this, you need to do that," and we're there racing into like Finglas village, running into some random suit shop, and my mom was like, "Get him measured, measure him, whatever you need to do, and all. How much is it? How much it's gonna cost?" And they were like, and they had no clue. They were like, someone literally ran into our shop and just starts asking for us to measure the son, like. And he goes, yeah, okay, no problem. So he just goes, no, it'll be free. We'll just do it now. And he starts measuring me and all that. We get all the measurements, send it off to the agent. And I remember my ma just sent everything then to the agent and said, that's everything you need. And she was just like, that's perfect. Thank you very much. And then it was like, I think it was like, what, 2 or 3 days later. And I'm just sitting in my house, and like literally, they literally said, right, so filming starts at 6 o'clock in the morning. I'll be on set for 6 o'clock. And I remember waking up, and the worst part about it was that I didn't know. It just said that I had a girlfriend in one of the scenes, but they didn't tell me what I had to do.
You're afraid
And
you have to do kiss
obviously,
scenes.
yeah, but the thing was, I was with my girlfriend the exact same
Hmm.
time. So my long term girlfriend I have now, that I was still with her at that time. And the problem was that this girl was like, I didn't know who this girl was, what we had to do. and I only got the script sent to me at, what was it, 2 o'clock in the morning. So I woke up at 2. I woke up at 2 and I checked my phone at 2:10, and I just checked my emails, and it said Professor the Madman script, and I literally looked through and it just said kiss and sin.
Oh,
And I literally just went like, oh shit, like this is not gonna be good. And my mom was like, what's wrong? And I was like, no, there's a kiss and sin. This, like, I don't know how Amy's gonna feel about this. Like, and my mom was like, no, you'll be fine, you'll be fine. And she was just like, she was kind of just breaking it to me. Like, I remember I was just in nerves, and she was just like, look, this is what you want to do in your career. The
yeah.
girl who you're doing this with is most likely 100% professional as well. There's nothing behind this. It's just you two characters being this. And thankfully, when we done the whole thing, it was exactly the way my mom put it. It was just this girl being completely professional. We done what we done. We left the scene. It was extremely awkward for me. You know, obviously, I thought it was gonna be more like a Mandy situation, walk in and be like, yeah, no, we're gonna do this kissing scene. She was fine about it because she said that she'd done this before, and I remember I'd walked in and I was just like, yeah, look, I don't know whether this is what we have to do or not. And she was like, no, we have kissing scene. And I was like, okay, and how do you feel about that? And she was like, yeah, it's good, yeah, oh, no problem. And I was like, okay, so you're not like nervous or anything? And she was like, no, we just be cool. And I was just like, okay. But then I remembered I was 16 and she was 22,
Oh, I was going to
and
ask
it
if
was
she
like,
was the same age.
no. She was like, fucking, well, it's nearly 6 years older. Wait, I can't even do math. Yeah, 6 years older.
Yeah.
And I remember, but that was the thing though. Like, she was 22 when I was 16, so that's what made the story sound better, because it was like, if anyone hears this, they would have been like, okay, you were 16, she was 22, so there's nothing between us, anyways. You know, like the relationship or any type of connection couldn't have fucking happened. And I was delighted when I heard she was 22, because if I heard that she was like 16, 17, it would sound so much worse. Like, and yeah, so we went on seeing, we done it. I met Farhad Safina. He came in, the director of Apocalypto as well, and he just came in and he was fucking so nice. Like, I thought he was gonna be like usually when you think someone who has a high status, you're gonna be a dickhead. It was a complete opposite. Like, this guy like walked in, and I remember he just walked in the most casual stuff ever. Like, didn't give a fuck, like, and just walked straight into the makeup room. And I turned around and some girl who was literally like my assistant, like 100, like she would not leave my side. Um, when we
I think it's because
arrived,
you were 16, so they need to watch you. So you're under
probably
18.
was, yeah. But what actually happened? But the also thing is, they were very short on time and strict on time. So I was just getting pushed left, right, center. By the time we arrived, there was a caravan and it had my name on it, and it just said, uh, young William Chester Minor, Mr. Lennon, plus family or something like that. So my mom and Jack went into this like trailer, and they were just like, this is amazing, like. And I remember my mom was just saying to me, she was like, this is made for you. I can see you doing this for the rest of your life now. And I was just like, I really hope so. And yeah, they literally had everything. Like, they had my family being brought down to have they served them breakfast and all that, done everything. They were literally looking after my entire family. And I remember at one point I was down getting makeup done, and some person just came to the trailer, knocked on the door, and said, we need Jordan. The family will look after you. And my family were just like, okay. So they didn't know what was gonna happen. I didn't know either. So I just went in and they done my hair. They had to stick a wig on my head, and had to like gel down on me hair and glue this thing onto my head, which was like the most painful thing ever getting off. Like, it took them like an hour to actually do my whole hair and makeup. And then out of nowhere, like, I'm there like looking at a list, and it's down right beside where I was sitting, and it kind of said like roles of like importance. And throughout the whole cast, and like, I was number 19, and I was like, "Do you know what? I'm number 19 for this set. I want to be number like 15, and then 12 and 10, and like just keep going down, basically, to a point where like I can feel like I'm almost like the next important person on the set. But at the same time, I was like, you need to be humble with all this type of
Yeah.
stuff. So, and while I was trying to say in my head, let's just be grateful for what we have here. Out of nowhere, I'm trying to calm myself down, and Farhad just literally walks into the trailer, like, and they always were like, "Oh, hey, Farhad, how are you?" And I literally just shit myself. Like, I didn't know what to do. Like, I just froze, like, in
Literally?
front of myself. And I fucking no, thank God I didn't. No, but I just froze. Like, I didn't know what to do. Like, and he just came over then, and he was just like, "Oh, is that Jordan Lennon?" And I was just like, how do you know my name? And then out of nowhere, like, I just turned slightly to the right, but while they were still doing my hair, I couldn't really do anything. And I was just like, oh, how's it going, for I had I literally did not see anything that he done. Literally not one thing. I didn't see Apocalypto. I didn't see Suits or something like that he done. And the first thing I said to him was, I looked him up before I met him, and I goes, "Oh man, I really love the Apocalypto and Suits." And he just literally like, and he just looked at me and goes, "Really? How did you watch them?" And I was like, "Oh, I seen Apocalypto. My friend had the DVD, and then I watched Suits online." And I remember I just completely blabbed through like how I knew him. And after that happened, he was just like, "Yeah, that's crazy. I didn't think somebody your age would be watching Suit, you know." And he was like, "I'm really really glad to hear that." And then and he's like, "Yeah, and Apocalypto, I'm glad that you liked that one." And I was just like, "Yeah, yeah, they were brilliant." And then as this happens, he was just like, "Yeah, I need to say something. You know, I seen your audition clip and I thought it was absolutely amazing. You should be very proud of yourself." And and then I was at that point, I just didn't know what to say. I was just like, "Oh fuck, like what the fuck?" And then it just kind of took me then. And at that point, the rest of the crew that was in the makeup place, they just shipped me out and they just said, "Right, you're going back to your trailer." And I went back to my trailer then. And by the time I went back, my mom and Jack are just sitting there, and they were just. My mom had this big smile on her face, and she starts laughing. She was like, "Oh my god, look at you and all." And I was at this point where I got really, really focused, and she was like, come on, let me get a picture and all this." And I was like, "Ma, I need to eat and I need to leave." And she was like, "Oh, come on, we just do this and all. Can we try and take a phone call off your auntie?" And all. I was like, "Ma, I can't take a phone call." I was like, "What are you talking about?" I was like, "Ma, it's 6 o'clock in the morning. Who the fuck's gonna be ringing us like?" And I just ate my food then, and then by that time, literally, someone just bangs on my door and just goes, "Right, let's go down to set." Went down to set, and before I knew it, it was like a click of a fingers, and the whole thing was over. But yeah, it is quite hard. Like if you're on a professional set, it is very hard because, like for instance, it was fucking freezing. It was like 2 degrees though, and the sun was out, and they were saying to me, "Warm thoughts, don't look so cold." And it was fucking freezing. Like I'm literally in a tennis short that was like as fucking thick as tissue, and I'm there literally they're like, "Yeah, so make it look like you're not cold." And I'm there like literally, I'm just like, it's fucking freezing. How am I not gonna look like it's cold? So I'm still shaking, but I had to just stiffen my body up. And he was like, "So look at the sun." And I was like, "Okay." And I look at the sun, and my eyes literally get burned like so badly. Like it feels like my eyes are melting. And he's like, "Can you stop?" He's just like, "Lower down the squint a tiny bit, open up your eyes a tiny bit more." And I literally said to myself, "I cannot open my eyes anymore. If I open my eyes anymore, I'm gonna go blind." And luckily, I just said, "Here, look, can I just take another second?" And I just took another second, started doing a lot of blink, and then looked back up, and then they said it worked and all that, so I was happy with that. But like, Jesus, the fucking treatment you were getting was like they were running out with like hot water bottles, teas, coffees, everything. Like literally, you felt like a king. And then when it was all over, we just wrapped it all up, and like everyone just kind of like left with smiles. And then after that happened, I had to come back to Finglas, and I was just like, "Oh, what the fuck is life like?"
Real culture
Because
shock, yeah.
yeah, exactly. Just going straight from being like the most important person there to coming back to Finglas. It was just like, oh my
Especially
god.
at 16 as well.
Yeah, like it really is a big fucking thing. And the worst part about it was probably coming back and telling people about what happened, because I noticed that a lot of people switched up after I'd done it. Like, people who never talked to me wanted to get to know me, and it was just it really like it was a kind of sense of reality. Like I'm glad that it happened, and even if I never take off again, I'm glad it did happen because from getting that bit of realization, it was probably the most helpful thing ever, because I did notice that people come in your life without you even wanting them in, and they seek benefits. And one guy I remember came over to me, and it was actually two guys, and I'd never talked to him. If anything, we'd never had a mutual relationship with each other, like, and it was always kind of they were better than me type of situation. And one of the lads, like, and out of nowhere, they just completely just like both of them, like equally, just wanted to become my friend. Started asking me to hang around with them and all this, but when they found out I wasn't doing the acting anymore, they just like dished it away, like, because they heard all the big names, they heard like Sean Penn, Mel Gibson, all these type of things, and they were just kind of like, "Oh yeah, come in, you can hang around with us and all this." And then as the thing died down and the break didn't break, it was like they just didn't want to know me anymore, and I was like, "Fuck me!" I was like, "Jesus Christ!" Like I didn't think it was gonna be this bad.
Something that I kind of had to learn very fast as well, that because I hide it very well, but I'm one of the most jealous, petty people you will ever meet. So when I started out, it took me forever to fucking get anything. Like, I had my first audition August, did not get a single thing until I think June of the next year, and
Yeah.
I would kind of see friends kind of getting cast in things, and I'd be kind of getting very bitter about it. And then once I started getting stuff, and I realized that I needed to work harder to get that stuff, so I realized that they have their thing, I have my thing. There's plenty of success to go around. Okay, me getting something does not mean that they're not going to get anything, and it's like their success does not equal your failure, and it really does go a long way just to be happy for someone when they have gotten that success. Because
Yeah.
you ever hear of an actress called Shailene Woodley? Basically, she was auditioning for a film called I Am Sam when she was only a
Okay.
child, and she didn't get it, and Dakota Fanning got it, and that's what made her famous anyway. And Shailene says her father was kind of comforting her afterwards and says, sooner or later, one day you're going to have this good day. You're going to have the best day of your life when you get that part. But that means there's going to be hundreds or thousands of other people who didn't get that part, and you wouldn't want anyone taking that away from you. So just be happy for this girl that she's gotten this thing, because your time will come eventually, and you wouldn't want anyone taking it away from you. So yeah, that was me trying to be positive there. And
Yeah, no, I think, yeah, I completely agree with you. I have a lot of people around in my life who, I'd say that I'm the exact. I am actually. Well, I would say I would have. I've been tied away from it a lot, but I would have said I've been very petty towards people getting success with me not getting success, only for the fact that you know, as the years go on and as time comes on with working with projects and different things like that, I do always say to myself, fucking hell, this guy is literally only acting. He doesn't even know how to act, and he's jumping into these things, and he's getting roles, and he's getting this, and he's getting that, and all. And I've seen other people, I'm like, how the fuck can he fit a drug dealer role? This guy has never been in an area like this. How can this chap do this? And I actually got to a point where I said to myself, there's no point in sitting back and constantly giving out. On the opposite side, you could be spending that time to go out, make yourself your own project, and put yourself into what you think that you would have fit better in. And then if people can see a complete comparison and they can kind of see the better part of it, that's what makes a better film in the end. Because if people can feel the actual reality of the character that you're actually perceiving yourself to be, if you can fit it to exactly what the audience needs you to fill it at, that's what makes a good actor. Because at least they know and they can feel that your emotions are real behind it. And you know, I remember this is the one person. He's very close to you. He was very close to me at one point as well. And I remember Greg Young was getting so much stuff, it was ridiculous. And I was literally like saying, I was like, how is this guy even ended up in this stuff? And it was like, literally, it was like, I remember it was like, I was going through Facebook and someone just sent me something. Just said, is this Greg Young with a question mark? And it was Robbie G's fucking music video. And I was like, how the fuck did he end up in Robbie G's music video? And it wasn't just Greg Young. It was a lot of other people I started seeing. And I said, I get so petty about it. I was not like, I was just being salty. I was just like, oh, you know what? I think that I could have done a better job than this person. I think I could have done a better job than this person doing this, do that. And then I got to a point I was like, well, I'm not fucking working for it. I sometimes I can get very confident and say that I can fucking do this role for you. But I don't be, the problem I think it is with a lot of fucking actors is that you have actors and they're, yeah, exactly. And it's kind of like all these actors, you can be the best fucking actor you want to be, but if you don't distribute yourself out, you're not going to get anything. Do you get me? It's like you could say to me, I have the best clothing brand in the world, and I'd say, okay, so why are you not selling it to me for? You know? And you're like, oh, but it's in my house and I have all of them and I have different designs now. I'm like, okay, then why haven't I heard about you selling one? You know? Because at the end of the day, if you're an actor, you need to sell yourself to production companies. You need to distribute yourself out there. And I know people say get yourself an agent, but sometimes you have to be your own agent alongside your
that's
agent.
pretty much what I've had to be for the last 3 years. Like,
Exactly, yeah.
for me.
And the thing is that like, I have an agent at the moment, but yeah, I've had the same agent for the last few years. The same agent was actually the person who got me the Professor the Madman audition. But as I said, you still need to. It doesn't matter how good your agent is. My agent, I genuinely think my agent is brilliant. But you still need to be your own agent.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's kind of like your agent is like your friends. You always have backup, but you always have to stand up for yourself first. Because if you don't stand up for yourself and you rely on your backup all the time, there's times when your backup aren't going to be there, and you need to take on the war by yourself. So you're best off learning the ropes by yourself, and then always having that backup ready to go, because it's the only way forward. And you know, I think I think the hardest thing for an actor is finding where you belong, and I think it's a very harsh. It is very hard because you know there is a lot of things that I could kind of. People always say to me, would you count yourself as a type actor, or would you count yourself as a multi kind of character?" And the hardest thing that I've actually kind of said was, they were like, I remember I was asked in an audition a few weeks ago, what would you like to do? And it wasn't actually an audition; it was just a small, kind of like a portfolio check type of thing. I was like, what appeals to you most as a character? And I had actually always said, I'm usually typed in as an aggressor, or people usually. Who was it? I think it was another guy who said it to me. I think it actually could have been your Zach Gould. I don't know how to pronounce his name. I don't want him to fucking kill me after this interview. But I think he was the one that said to me. He was like, I have a feeling that you always get casted for what was it, the bad cool guy all the time. The kind of like and the funny thing was, I was kind of saying to myself, I look back on the roles that I had, and I was kind of saying to myself, I was like, you're not too far off. It's usually just the aggressor. It's always the person who's fucking behind the shit, or somebody who's just constantly aggressive about stuff. But then when I looked more into it, I kind of said to myself, actually, hold on, there is much more characters I'd like to be. Like, for instance, I thought when I'd actually written the Nutters, the character I actually liked who I played was Jake. I actually kind of did like that.
What do you think?
Oh my god, man, what have you done with the poor dog?
It's Rocco the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
And just so you know, there's going to be a lot of productions coming up soon. So, Bobby, don't worry, we'll keep you on the line of it. But no, like the thing is, we've the contacts I've made over the last year, it's been outstanding. I can't be more grateful for who I do have, and who I don't have. Who I don't have, you can't be grateful for who you don't have. But anyways, but yeah, so that's basically what we're working off now. A lot of my friends have themselves, and I've invested a lot into myself as well. So I think it's all about, like, just, it doesn't matter what it's kind of one of them things. If you're a miner, don't mine all the way into the cave and turn back down. Do you get me? Like, keep going till you hit some. And the thing is, even when you feel shit, just keep going, like, all the entire time. Um, the funniest part about it is that a lot of people probably say to me, I know there's been a lot of people who've come up to me a lot in the past year or two, and they've constantly said, like, how did you get into acting? How did you get these roles? And how did you do that and all? And the funny part about it is, they all think it was just, like, spoon fed.
Kind of hidden treasure.
Yeah, it was almost just like I had it in my drawer, and I was just like, oh yeah, here's an audition. Like, it's not like fucking that. You get me? Like, it was kind of like, it was literally acting, fucking workshops, all this type of stuff. And then it was like, oh wow, 6 months later you get one audition that you don't even get in the end, and then 3 months later you get another audition which you fail again on. And there's no failure behind it though. It's you doing the audition, and either you don't look like the person they need, or else
just not what they're looking for.
you're exactly, yeah. And that's the thing. And it's kind of like, the funny part about it is, it's kind of like, it's like being a car in a fucking in a car shop. And at the end of the day, just because just because someone's not picking to buy it doesn't mean you're not a good car. Do you get me? Like, it means that you're appealing to somebody else the way it is. And it's just the way it always is. Like, and that's the thing is like, somebody could obviously say, if you were in a fucking car, they see the other Lamborghini and say, oh, but I go faster than the Lamborghini. But it doesn't matter. They don't want that. They want the Lamborghini. You get me? Like, and the thing is that they might say, and we could be onto a production company, and they might say, we don't want Jordan, we want Bobby. And that's the difference behind it. And, and that's kind of the way, like, that's the way it works all the time. And the thing is, I think the biggest thing about the film industry, and for people's perspectives and personalities, the one thing that doesn't matter how good of an actor you are, the one trait everybody has to learn is be humble and collaborate. And I think if you can't be humble and you can't collaborate, good luck. You're not going to go fucking anywhere. Because if you want to be a director, you're going to have to collaborate with production companies to try and get yourself in, do small bits, and then try and do a little direction on it. And if you want to be an actor, exact same thing. You have to be humble. You have to understand who's around you. Doesn't matter whether you're in the shitest fucking video ever. At least if you show your face, you show your skill. That's all that matters. I've been in plenty of videos that have never been released, funny enough, we done Trouble, and so I'm gonna expose a bit about what's going on here. So
This
so
is the film.
basically,
This is the short film me and Jordan did together back in January, just for
yeah.
context.
And the funny thing about that was, it was we had it all worked out. It was all ready to go. Um, Obviously, I don't want to spill too much about it, but we'd got it into our edits and stuff and all that. We looked back on it. Problem was, I remember it was on my I remember it was on my it was on the production Instagram, and it actually said we'd been delayed for a week or two. Um, and the funny thing was that it was actually, and I don't want to blame it, but like everyone's been affected, but it actually was the coronavirus that actually held it fucking up, because what was actually meant to happen was I was meant to go up and visit AK Productions and Catch 22 meet as well. We were meant to go up and have a production meeting, sit down and actually figure out where the edit was going. And the problem was, we thought the edit was ready to be distributed once we all sat down and agreed on everything. But the production meetings couldn't go ahead. The coronavirus literally had gone quarantine. Everybody had to stay indoors. And then by that time, I remember I set up a date and I'd said, okay, let's do this date, and we are all ready to go. And as soon as we did, they said, okay, lockdown starts today, and it was just the worst thing ever. And we were like, oh my god. So yeah, it really hit us at a bad point. But on a better note of it, we've looked back over the footage, and the thing is that although we did get a lot of good quality of it, um, we're probably we will leave what we have. It's not being binned, nothing like that. But we're working on something which is going to be 10 times heavier than what we were actually looking at. As you know, the actual project was a college project, but it's actually being taken into a basis of more of an independent short film, and we're looking at a longer duration for it as well. So don't worry, you still have your position, Bobby. So, but yeah, no, we're looking at a much better production line behind it. Our equipment from each production involved, everything has been increased massively. We have 10 times better what we are working with, and we really want to execute it much better than what we have executed before. Also with the writing that we did have behind it, I think script lines are gonna most likely stay all the same, and the only thing that will change is there being a longer duration. So meaning that, if the way you had a designated part, your part is most likely just going to be extended out for another 5 or 10 minutes. You get me? And yeah, we were only looking at the problem was, when we put it all down, we were looking at hopefully getting about 4.5 minutes. But by the time we'd actually nailed it down, you were looking at maybe 3 minutes 20 seconds, and it just wasn't appealing to us. Not for visually or no way in creative way. We thought the creative style that we took upon it was really good. Everything was going fucking great with it. We had a great DP, we had a lot of great editing going on. We had a lot of good things going. And obviously, sorry.
Great lead actor.
Oh, yeah. Oh no, thank you too. What you're doing, noise, Bobby. But no, like we had everything, and the only issue that, like as I said, like we had a good director, we had the good DP, we had everything. But the problem was that after looking at it now, the finished product of it, only issue was we were working with the Canon 250D and the Lumix G7, G7X I think it is. And the thing about it is that, yeah, great cameras, really are good cameras. But what we're working with now is it's a whole new standard, you get me? And it's kind of like, these are like toys looking compared to the new stuff we have, and we really want to get it to where we can, really get a nice good standard out of it. And the thing is that people were saying to us, would you not just keep the video and add on to it with the new videos? But we're like, look, listen, if you see what the extension is going to be, and if we add that clip in, it's going to look like we went from a Nokia into an actual cinema camera, and it's not going to look good at all. And Yeah, so, and also the things was we looked over, there was a lot more things behind it. Like for instance, I remember there was just small, just little jitters and issues and stuff like that. They weren't noticeable after the editing stage, so post production completely annihilated them all. But we just said, just on a better note, as for instance, you were on set, so you would have remembered when we were in it, everything was going fucking perfect. Me and your scenes, which you done fucking perfectly, thank the Lord. But when we done the scenes, we everything was going absolutely fucking perfect. And then when me and you had actually just finished our scene, the fucking door had opened and the caretaker said, "You just have half an hour left," and we're like, "A half an hour? Like we literally just executed this perfectly. Why are you telling us to get a half an hour now?" And he's like, "Oh, you know, we're closing up the college and stuff like that." And that was what I think. If there was any bad parts of the actual complete thing, I think that that was probably the worst part behind it, because that's when loss of communication came in. There was a lot of irritation between people. There was a lot of tension going on, and it just got to a point where everything was just kind of shit was hitting the fan very fucking quickly, and there was nothing we could do about it. And obviously we did finish up very very quickly. Sometimes we were even leaving out dialogue lines just to get the fucking thing done quicker than what it was. But now the plan that we have in action for the newest one is, I think it's, if you, well, obviously because you are a part of it, you are in that position, you will be told the newest plan. But the thing is, I always say to people, whenever you're making a move, make it more silent than anything. I think I really I don't like that a lot of people tell their plans, because if you're gonna do something, go out and do it, and then tell the plan after it's done. You get me? I don't want to start. I don't want to start beef here, So I do know other productions that are out there, and they said they're gonna make something, and it's been fucking years later, and I still haven't seen no progression. I do not, as the way it's probably sounding, I don't disrespect that in any other way. I completely respect and I understand where the issues appear there. I just think, in my true respect behind it, I just think, if you're gonna do it, don't let anybody know. Keep your quality, keep everything there. It's only until you see a completion of it and it looks good, tell people your moves. Because if you tell people before it all happens, like for instance, um, myself and another actor had a bit of a dispute. Don't think anybody will actually remember when it happened. I don't want to say the actor as well, because a lot of people know the actor. And we had a bit of dispute the last time over me confronting them about a production that they were on, and the production wasn't going ahead. And then they had actually thrown it back on my face about a project I was working on, and he said, "Why has that not gone anywhere?" And it got very, very, a lot of tension was built very quickly, and the project that was brought up was was Poison Minds.
No, because it's not you pulling the epoxy trigger now, is it?
What if it is?
What are you on about?
We'll do it.
And the thing was, we've been working on Poison Minds. We worked on it straight for 6 months. We got 6 scripts and 40 minutes each, and they were coming out absolutely, in my personal opinion, it was fucking brilliant. It was a really really good script, and the only issue that came into it was that we had disputes with other production companies. We were actually looking at finance for it, and everything went very very bad very quickly. And when it did, we just cut ties and left, and we just said, "Fuck this shit." It's all good about finance, but the way things are going on here, it's not good enough. So we completely left it, and that was kind of what happened. You know, and when I'd had this dispute with the other actor, I kind of said, my type of thing, making a crime drama and making something that's relative towards everybody in your community is very hard to get done in fucking under 10 minutes. And when you're trying to perceive a whole entire 6 episodes that are 40 minutes long into a 10-minute short film, and to try and, like, for instance, because we're doing Poison Minds, it's meant to be a teenager type / adulthood type of thing. And the problem is that when you bring in mothers or fathers or anything like that are actors, professional actors, the only problem that comes across with that, everybody has full-time jobs or part-time jobs. They're not available, As much as they would love to help you, they're not available. So, you come into a lot of that. And I think genuinely the biggest issue that did appear from Poison Minds was that a lot of people were not available. And I guarantee you with 100% certainty, if everybody was available and we had all the right cast, it'd be done and all by now. But we are really hoping to try and get it get it into the film festivals for next year. Um, we don't we're not looking for anything too major on it. But we want a nice clear storyline. For instance, like that's where the complication happened with Trouble. Um, everything looked good, visually amusing. Everything was looking perfect on it. Only problem was the storyline was too tight in order for people to understand what was going on. And I felt like that's where we slightly. I I wouldn't really say that we made a fault in, because there was no. In my personal opinion, like, as I can completely understand feedback and I'll take criticism when it's fucking given, but it wasn't even. I don't even think it was a storyline. I think it was just genuinely because there was a lot of I just felt like the conversations were not moving to, as in, for instance, you were being told that spoiler alert, that my character killed another person, and the thing was, the audience never made a connection with this character, and I felt like that's where everything kind of fell apart, and it wasn't really, with your character kind of involving onto my character, kind of saying, like, we know you've done it and all this type of stuff. That's the only type of sense that the audience kind of know what's going on then. And then by the time I actually confess, I'm already getting handcuffed and left. And I kind of felt like that's where the kind of fall was. So we said to ourselves, we'll work on it and maybe try and get a 10-minute short film out of it. And then if we can get the 10-minute short, then we see where we can work from there. And hopefully try and maybe go for us, maybe even look for festival look again. We have a lot of stuff we're looking to do for this and next year. We're hoping to try and get maybe anything from 4 to 5 projects out that will all be industry standard for the film festivals. Funny enough, we were trying, as your plans and everything and stuff like that can always go mistakes. One thing I'll always say to people is that a lot of people can get taken down from the film industry because they make a mistake. The one thing I will say to you is that you will make mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes. Even professional sets make mistakes. Everyone needs to understand that. Yeah. So the one thing I will say to you is that if you start making mistakes, don't let it make you fall back. Don't make it like just don't let it take you down, because you'll always make mistakes. You make mistakes every day, but it doesn't matter how hard or how heavy the project is. If you're still making mistakes on it, doesn't mean you're not going to be able to complete it. It just, in my personal opinion, when a lot of mistakes happen in a project, it really makes me in my personal opinion, it really determines who really wants it and who really doesn't want it. And the people who drop out when mistakes happen, cut them from your project. And I know that sounds very harsh, but it is the truth behind it. When it happens in that type of part where people just want to just keep dropping out all the time, usually they shouldn't be welcome to your sets anymore, because they're there for their face to be shown, but they don't want to do much work behind it. But in my personal opinion, a true actor will come back day on day. Sorry, fucking estate sounds like a bleeding zoo. But
I didn't hear anything.
Oh, we're good. Once you can't hear them, but it's like 40 dogs barking at once. But yeah, so that's kind of what I'd say. Mistakes are always made. Mistakes are always made by actors as well. You know, and that's why it's an art. Do you get me? Because if everything was perfect, it wouldn't be good, because you don't know where you're going wrong. You don't know what you can fix. So yeah, I feel like I've been talking too much and I haven't been letting you talk, Bobby. So I'll let you go ahead for.
Yeah, well, I wanted to kind of, this is kind of veering back a bit further into the past anyway, about, here's a fun little story for you. The day after we filmed Trouble anyway, and obviously Adam Douglas was in the cafeteria as well when I was there anyway, so I was on the phone to Greg saying just how funny that was. And then I said something like, oh, well, the three of you drew me in with that Finglas farce you made 3 years ago.
What did you say?
I said, the three of you drew me in with that Finglas farce you made 3 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Referring to... So what's your kind of relationship towards the Nutters now?
Fuck!
I kind of personally think if you look aside quality and you look more into the pre-production, as in maybe the development of the story, I think the storyline is much more better than the actual quality that you're saying. The funniest part about it was that project was the funnest project I've ever done. It got very fucking weird very quick. Like, for 1 second, the day one of recording, we were all there was a drone, right? And I don't know whether people actually know this. They probably would have copped it. But if you remember, in the actual video, there's a drone following me on the bike. But the other part about it is that the second video is it keeps cutting scenes between me on my bike from kind of front mid shot, kind of being tracked, and then it turns straight back to bird's eye view. So it's going from tracking mid shot to bird's eye view, back and forth, and it's me with my shirt on. The funny thing was, when we had actually recorded that, I'd said to my mom, "Ma, can Jack jump in the back of the car, open up the boot, record from the back of the boot, and I will follow the car the whole way." And I didn't fucking think it out because I thought my mom was going to stop each fucking quarter, let me rest. But no, the reason why you can see me being fucking out of breath and literally in bits is because the whole entire cycle was non-stop. And then also taking consideration, she was hitting like 30 miles an hour. So I had to keep up with the 30 miles an hour. And then she was stopping and going 5 miles an hour. So I had to keep pulling my brakes to make sure I didn't hit into the back of the car. And it was literally recorded from my estate all the way to my school, which is like maybe like a 15, 20-minute cycle. But when you're trying to keep up with a car, I was in absolute bits because the car is going 5 kilometers sometime and then it's going to 40. So when I have to go from 5 kilometers to 40 kilometers, it's just, and then you're going uphill as well. Fuck me, man, I was in absolute bits. And then the scene was actually ironic because when I came into the classroom, I was actually still trying to catch my breath. So I'm like, and I remember I actually said to myself, I was like, "Sorry, sir." And in the script, it was meant to be, I was obviously just acting out that I was tired. I wasn't actually tired. But the funniest part of what I was tired. So when I done it, I actually opened the door and I over exaggerated how tired I was. But when I done it, I was actually saying to myself, I need to actually start catching my breath back here because if I don't catch my breath now, I'm actually gonna fucking collapse. And I got really bad really quickly. But yeah, no, I think the whole point, I thought just I really feel like, I would have loved, that's why I'm doing the new comedy project that I'm doing now at the moment. It's very, very based off of the exact same type of concept of it.
What the fuck is that? That's disgusting. Get that off you now.
Okay.
Oh yeah, just going back to the Nutters, there was something I thought of a while ago, and I figured this is the best place to say it anyway. And I kind of feel as though maybe, obviously, you're a little embarrassed by it because it was made when you were 16 or whatever, and now you've moved on
Yeah.
to a lot bigger and better stuff. Anyway, I just want to say, if it didn't exist, right, then I probably wouldn't know you, because I only saw it because Greg showed it to me, and I saw you in that, and I was like, wow, this guy's pretty good. Keep an eye on him. And again, even since now then, I only know Adam from that as well, and I've become really good friends with him anyway. So even the fact that this film exists, right, I got 2 good friends out of it. I would like to think we're good friends, but
Yeah.
so I mean, that's the value it has anyway. So it has
like
value to me that way. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
No, like I completely understand where you're coming from. Like, no, like some people obviously get the wrong interpretation all the time. Like, but the fun thing was we did rip into everybody. That we always rip into the North. But the thing is like the funny thing is we're always getting embarrassed and ripping into each other for something that actually made us. Like that's the one thing that made my. I like to think it's what made my community know what I'm doing, and it's what made them respect us for what we're doing. And I think becoming a creative individual and publicly displaying yourself is the hardest thing you can do because you don't know how you're going to be perceived and you don't know how you're going to be judged. But I think I've just become over the last fucking few years, and I've just come to a point where I could just kind of say fuck it. Like it doesn't matter how bad it is, just fuck it. Because I think if you have an attitude, so many people in my life that are constantly, and this happens to a lot of close people to me, they constantly fear what others think before they do anything, and the one thing I always say to people is, you know what, if you want to do something, don't fucking fear doing it, but guarantee if you're doing it and nobody else is doing it and you start getting something from it, it's going to be replicated what you're doing and somebody's going to copy you, and before you know it, there's just this herd of sheep that are just trying to do what you're doing, but they can't get it to your quality because you worked harder than everybody else at it. And coming into the film industry at such a young age, trying to execute the projects I tried to execute, I think it was quite obviously it's very daunting because you're seeing the quality that's being brought out and you're trying to replicate it yourself, but in your own style. But even with that, I feel like myself and the crew that I've been working with since day one, I feel like we've come a long way. You know, I've had, um, obviously I've worked with Adam. I thought he's a really good man on set. You know, he's very straight to the point. He's very professional about it. You know, he's a nice dude as well. And but the other people who I've worked with, like for instance, you know, Liam Gaynor from the Nutters, Mason Creedy, you know,
Mason the
these
human
are all,
chameleon.
yeah, like these are all fucking like long term fucking friends, you know, like and the funny thing about it is that like, you know, when you have a bunch of friends that just want to do this type of stuff with you, it makes it 10 times easier because you're not like, you know, if I'm doing this type of stuff, like for instance, you know, it's when community doesn't get involved, when the community doesn't get involved, it's where you lack a lot, you know. Like for instance, if community hadn't gotten involved with me, for instance, with Liam Gaynor and Mason Creed and all that, I would have to trek so fucking far. Like for instance, um, I fucking love fucking Zach Gould and what he's up to with all of his fucking friends, with his production companies and all that. But the fucking worst part about the whole situation with Zach Gould is literally how much I have to fucking trek just to be, you know, just to fucking be on set with him, you know. Like, and the thing is like, I fucking love doing the last fucking thing that we done. But fuck me, like, you know, when you have to go all the way to Wicklow just to fucking do the fucking thing, you know, it's just kind of, it can be very fucking harsh on you, you know, because you're just saying like, you know what, why the fuck could you not have lived in Dublin and just made this thing fucking easier? We could have been fucking millionaires by now, Jamie. Like, if you weren't so fucking far away, everything's so much easier. But
Oh, don't worry, you can always stay with me this next time.
oh yeah, no, I think Greg has a few bad stories from staying with you, so I'll keep that to him.
He keeps coming back, so I don't.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think he loves it up there.
I'm okay.
Another guy that I actually really want to work with, he's in a lot of Irish stuff. Is Jimmy Smallhorn? Do you know who Jimmy Smallhorn is?
No, I don't know him actually.
Okay, so Jimmy Smallhorn played Git in Love Hate. He played the boss in Cardboard Gangsters, and he played the father in Darklands, and he also made his own film as well. But yeah, I didn't even know this. He's close to a family member of mine, and he's very big in the industry. Like for an upcoming, he's not even upcoming actually. What am I talking about? He's fucking already in it. But yeah, he's a very humble fucking person. I had a conversation with him. Had a messenger FaceTime fucking type, whatever the fuck they call it, video chat, with him. Um, maybe 3 weeks. 3 weeks ago, I think it was. Yeah, I think it was 2 or 3 weeks ago. I had a video FaceTime chat. I don't even know what the fuck I'm saying. Video chat, and oh, he's so fucking nice, man. He's so humble, and you know, he just gave. He's very inspirational. He's very keeps you motivated on what you need to do. He told me a lot of his stories, and it kind of put me into a lot of insight of what the industry is like and what you're in for, you know. And the one thing he said to me was, stop. If you're gonna sit your career on when your next blow up is, then you can forget about it, because the thing is that it'll be the one time that you're not expecting to get an audition for something big. You'll do it, you go home and you get the phone call and they'll be like, "Can you do it?" And he said, the more you keep forcing yourself to get something, is the less time you get it, because the more pressure you put on yourself to get stuff, is more stressed out you get about it. And I can even say from my own personal experience, I've been very stressed over trying to become who I want to become. And the problem is that I've constantly said to myself, I've always said I'd love to be. I don't want to be the next superstar, but I'd definitely love to make a career from it. You know, I'd love to make a career where I'm financially stable and I have a small bit more money than I can use to fucking work with. But the one thing I always said to myself was like, you know, I always want to be the person that you know, a lot of people look up to, and they always, you know, a lot of people would love to meet, because I just feel like I'd be very humble in order to meet other people. And the funny thing is that I can actually be a very shy person. You know, a lot of people
Really?
think that I can be very kind of like confident and stuff like that, but when it comes to things, I can actually be very fucking shy. So I always did say to myself, you know, like, as much as I can put myself off as a confident person, I do always say to myself, you know, if fame did to hit you tomorrow, you can't go to the shops anymore. You can't live it in normal life anymore. It's literally like you're in lockdown for the rest of your life, because you can't just start, you know, you just need like you're gonna need someone there, or there's always gonna need to be protection beside you at all times. And I feel like you can't enjoy your life that way. So I kind of got to this thing where I just said, you know what, I'm gonna do my life. I'm gonna live my life the way I'm gonna fucking live it. But acting is always gonna be there. I'm always gonna do it. I'm always gonna have it on my mind. So yeah, I just kind of I stopped. I'm never gonna stop chasing the dream, but I'm definitely gonna stop chasing my fucking stress. Do you get me? Because I can feel like you chase that more than you do out. So
Exactly. Yeah.
so out to anyone else that's fucking doing acting and shit like that, just if it's meant for you, it'll come your way, you know.
Enjoy
But
the struggle.
exactly, because trust me, when you get it, it's literally like fucking it's like constantly. Let's just say, for instance, a lot of people want the PS5, you know, because it's coming out soon. But when the anticipation comes, you will get it. But imagine when you get it, you're gonna love it for maybe 4 or 5 weeks. Then you're slowly gonna lose your so-called fucking, your energy for it, and this constant, love and ability for it. And it'll get to a point where, although you had the PS5, you're gonna have to play that PS5 now for the rest of your life, and there's no way out of it, and you have to live with that. And um, I've been told a lot of stories of from a lot of people who are actually in the industry, like big time, and they have said to me they have met a lot of actors who are really sick of what they're doing, but they think they can't get out because they're so high, their status is so high as a person, that they can't leave because they know it's making them a living, and they know it's making them wealthier every day. And if they drop out, their contracts will be shredded, and they may lose a lot of things behind it. So it's almost like it's literally like a deal with the devil. Do you get me? Like, it's kind of like you can't live, and it's kind of like, that's what it's almost like. I think the strain that would be put on your life is very fucking harsh. So I think, if for people who probably are bleeding listening to this thing in the fucking head, I think you just need to stop fucking stop chasing everyone. Do you get me? You know, and stop always network yourself, and always try and chase work, but don't chase your stress, and don't. The one thing that I've actually been told by a lot of people as well: stop putting numbers on yourself. You know, because I am one that does that as well. I've always said to myself, I want to hit it by I'm 16. I want to hit it by the time I'm 18. I want to hit it by the time I'm 21. And it's just going to keep going. It's nice to set goals, but don't set something that's not a guarantee. And I think that's the worst thing. It can destroy our mindset, and it can destroy our actual motivation for things. So I think as a thing, all actors need to stop with the number. Stop with the number and focus more on the achievements you want to get. You know, it's not about this thing of, I think people need to stop with this whole thing of, I want to have my break by 21. Maybe not that. Maybe just say, I want to make 3 short films by the time I'm 21. You know, because they are achievable, and they really are. So you need to start concentrating on where you're going first. One thing I can say to you is that anybody who's trying to get themselves into filmmaking is just, people say start off with, I know a lot of people don't have a lot of money right now. And I know that a lot of people don't work sometimes, and they don't do this, and they don't have great money behind them. But, if you can provide yourself with a small job or anything of the sort, or if you don't know, if you, like, for instance, let's just say, Bobby, you want to make a film, but you have no equipment. Just because you have no equipment doesn't mean you can't work a bit of a job, buy yourself equipment, and be stuck with that equipment so you can use it whenever you want, you know? And I think the problem with people who want to get into the film industry, they don't want to invest into themselves. And I think you have to invest not only money. Money is 5% of what you need to invest yourself into. 95% of it is time and patience. And if you can't invest time for yourself, and you can't actually give yourself that time to process, and actually give yourself time to fucking feel the fucking emotion. Like, for instance, a lot of people write, but they don't write with clarity or performance. Some people just write, and it could be like, oh no, I'm not even gonna do it. That'll get me in trouble if I say that. But some people write scripts, and it's kind of like, I'm looking at a cat, and the cat walks to the carpet, and the carpet gets shook, and you're like, what the fuck am I reading? Do you get me? And they're like, no, I spent 10 minutes writing this, and you're like, oh yeah, I'm saying that. Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure this is gonna be an outstanding fucking project. But and then you have another guy who walks in, and he's like, all right, I'm not spending about 2 weeks on this, 3 weeks on this, and it could be a minute long, and it could be the best piece you've ever written. And you'd say, okay, how did it take you 2 weeks to write one page? and it could be that certain moment where that person would just say, I went through about 12 drafts. I kept shortening it and shortening it and shortening it to a point where I got my message across in 1 minute. And that's what you're looking for. You're not looking for the person who comes in and says, "Oh, you've been writing for my whole life and all." Yeah, you're writing shit your whole life. You get me? Like, at the end of the day, you're writing like an 8-year-old your whole life. Why don't you just fucking concentrate on a few pages and make them better, and just keep doing that and doing that and doing that. And yeah, I think a lot of people need to start working together more. The funniest thing about it is, there's a oh god, sorry, and it's one thing about like this whole film industry. Um, I'll let you in on a little type of secret. All right, what's going on? So basically, um, myself, and a lot of other production companies such as AK Productions, Catch 22, Farrell Productions, all these different types of people. I've come into contact with them, and we've all agreed that there is no there's no real social platform for Irish industry film, and we do have a plan. Well, basically, the plan was actually meant to happen this fucking month, which is just ridiculous. Like, it's fucking virus is killing everyone's fucking goals, but the plan is to try and get us ourselves, not only us, but to have a social platform for every single Irish artist. And what it is, for instance, okay, you have the music industry, the rap industry, and the rap industry has, sorry, my fucking emails keep coming up. So the rap industry has something called Fact TV. I don't know whether you've ever heard of this, but basically Fact TV provides all the music for Irish rappers, right? What you do is you get yourself a music video, your track mastered, completed, you send it to them, and they upload it to their social platform, which has 26 blah blah thousand subscribers. Then you have another platform called New Era TV, and they do the exact same service. But the thing is like, I said to myself, okay, hold on. So if Bobby makes the short film, some people might not see it because Bobby might have 2 subscribers. But you might see Greg Young has 10 subscribers and 10 more people see his video than Bobby has. So I said to myself, why don't we get a shit ton of social media and influencers, get other people who are actually interested in the art, have everyone, and just come to the one platform. So the one platform can provide everything. So let's just say, instead of you getting 2 views and Greg getting 10, and for instance, if I make a short film, sometimes I'm ending it with like, I can go anything from 8,000 to 330,000. You get me? Like, and this is just kind of like a complete fucking diversity in it. But the thing is like, the difference between having your channel, Greg's channel, and my channel, the thing is that why don't you all upload it onto the one channel so that most views are all equal? So it doesn't mean that you're getting the bigger, it doesn't mean that you're getting a smaller piece of the cake and we're all getting the bigger side. It means it's all split out equally. And your quality of work is how it's going to be determined on your views. And I think it's the best way possible, and I think it's a very big move that we're trying to make. The channel platform, I don't want to speak too much on it, but it is in the works. So if somebody replicates this, I know who these are. Excuse me. So don't start trying to do this. But the
I'll
thing
find
is
you
that
and I will kill you.
uh, our organization, not our organization, what I'm talking about, the platform we're gonna have will be YouTube based for the start. But the thing is that what we want people to know is that although it is oh god, it's gone. Although it is all completely YouTube based, and because it's all Irish industry based, it does not, every single piece of work that's on there will not have ads attached. So that means that we're not making money off it. We're not doing anything like that. If anything, we're helping the industry more than we're helping ourselves. We're helping ourselves as well, but we're helping all of the rest of the people who can't get views on their videos. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to make a community where it's easier for people's work to be noticed. And we want something where, for instance, the music industry has Fact TV, and the more views and the more popular pieces of work that are on them channels, they are the pieces of work that Universal may see or Sony may see, and they're looking up these music pages because they have all the work that they need. It's literally like, I think on this YouTube platform, it will basically have all the short films that you need to watch, and when you can send these off to RTE or wherever the fuck it is, there's gonna be people who are making short films on these YouTube pages. So you might make a short film, and you might have a connection to somebody in Virgin Media One, and you might put that short film up, and that person in Virgin Media One not only views your video, but views my video as well, and then they view another person's video and another person, and before you know it, this person from Virgin Media One is in a conference room. And I'm kind of going a bit far fetched, but you can't really talk far
Possibilities, yeah.
fetched because how small of a circle you can find yourself in when you actually look at it. And all it takes is that one person to be sitting in a meeting saying, "You do know there's a whole fucking Irish industry on one fucking platform," and everyone from RTE or fucking Virgin Media One, where the fuck it is, people, it's not going to be that hard for time to pass where this becomes the platform for Irish amateur and semi-professional Irish filmmakers. And the thing is that when it comes to all these, and I understand people say, but that's what the fucking festivals are for. Yeah, but the thing is that festivals are once a year and you have a deadline. You don't have a deadline on the YouTube channel. You make it when you want to make it. There's no deadline. You literally send your request to the people, which would be whoever's running it. They download it and they upload it, and they give you a time, date, and a schedule when it's going to be up. And I think that's like, then there's no more this constantly waiting on a festival, and then your fucking file being buried in a festival because there's too many submissions, you know? And I think that's the worst part about it. So I think if you have a platform where people can watch videos and there's a constant circulation of Irish film, because there's so much of a circulation, so much of a quantity going on, it's going to become the norm to just sit down and watch an Irish film. And the funny thing is that people say, "Oh, that won't happen," but look at the rate now. You know, coronavirus. I know it sounds such a bad example, but coronavirus was just a joke and it was a meme, fucking a while back. You
Yeah.
see how much the media has talked about this stuff because people publicize things so fucking often. It becomes your lifestyle to fucking be adjusted towards that. Now I understand it's a fucking global pandemic and all this stuff like that, but if you're on YouTube and you're constantly seeing a new Irish film coming out and it's by this person, and before you know it, it becomes a normal thing to just sit down and click on it. And if it looks at news and you'll be like, "Holy shit." And then this is where, you know, not only do filmmakers get involved, but then graphics designers get involved because they need thumbnails for their YouTube videos. And then you have a whole different spoil of things. For instance, what we were saying is that we want to get when we're working on the next Poison Minds, we want to be getting Irish made rap music to be put into our videos because you've never seen a fucking video with Irish rap music in it or Irish sang music or like stuff like that. And I think people need to start innovating and start making the culture become acceptable. I'm not saying it's not acceptable, but I'm just saying that it's not as displayed as it should be. And I think the platform is going to be. I think I can see a good big success from it. Yeah, let's just fucking hope it. But I can guarantee it. There's definitely going to be something good from it. I can't see anything bad happening from it because it's a non-profitable organization and it's a platform for everybody. So, but I think there should be a standard towards it though, because I think maybe there should be requirements behind it. Because there could be other people, like for instance, you could spend a lot of time making a professional type of piece. It could be recorded on a Canon, 200D, 250D, 800D, whatever it is. But you could put that time in, but then you could end up seeing a kid putting a fucking video in, and it's recorded off a fucking old iPod or something. Do you get me? That's what you don't want to see. I feel like if it's coming in, it should have a good standard towards it. So that's probably where the only small restrictions will come in for the platform. Like
Makes sense, yeah.
as in, yeah. So if you're bringing it in, it needs to be up. It needs to have at least a slight bit of professional fucking performance on it. And I feel like that's the exception in it. And that's obviously long term down the line. That's when they get reviewed and then they be posted onto the platform. But I think another big thing that we want to do from it as well is that not only do we just want a platform from it, we also want a meet and greet as well. So maybe once a year or twice a year where you all go to one big hall and it's just a shit ton of actors on half of the side and shit ton of people from production companies on the other half of the room. And at one point, you literally all have to do a speed dating thing. Tell them who you are, swap cards, and just keep doing it. And, you know, before you know it, you have connections to half of all the new independent companies that are coming up. Do you get me? And before you know, you have a spiral of work that's coming their way. They say, we need somebody who can do an English accent or an American accent in this team. We need someone to play a soldier. Before you know it, you're full of work. Do you get me?
You've
And
listed all the things I'm able to do.
yeah, exactly. That's what I did. I was only thinking your show reel there, and I was like, oh, yeah. But
Two soldiers scenes.
yeah, that's it. Like, you know, and I just think that we need to. I think we all need to be a team though, because
Yeah.
there needs to stop being this whole competition thing. I know there's a lot of people in this type of thing that they constantly have a competition mindset on it, but you need to understand right now, for the industry that we have, there really is no competition. It's really, you get in the door, you don't fucking get in the door. It's one or the other. And it's none of this thing of like, you know, fuck you, I'm behind the door, I'm not letting you in. It's nothing like that. It's either you're in the door, and if you don't do anything, you know, you're going to get fucked out the door as well. And it's nothing like, and I think the film thing is nothing personal, but I just think that for, you know, we really need to all work together to start showing, you know, because the budgets, I know that the budgets are good for what we're getting, but, you know, why can't they be higher? Now, obviously, I know fucking global recession is going to come fucking in as well. It's going to fuck us all up. But, you know, it's stuff like all these recessions and shit like that. You know, that's when people need to start working together as well. Do you get me? Because, but I think, for instance, if you have, if you have yourself, right, who's in the industry long enough, and you have, let's just say myself, who's in an industry quite not very long, but a long
Same
enough
time as
time.
me, yeah.
Yeah, and it's long enough as well. And you know, you kind of say this thing is, you know, I've worked with big equipment and stuff like that, fairly big equipment. I think there should be a time where, you know, you label, let's just say you get myself, yourself, and a lot of other people who have the same experience as us and have been in it long enough, have them all team up and have them become one group, you know, one big group on Facebook or something like that. And then you have at this same meet and greet, whatever it is, you have all the people who want to be actors and who want to start their own production companies, and have all them link up together. Do you get me? So at least you have all the beginners with the beginners, the mediums kind of where the mediums are, and all the highs with the highs. And before you know it, the mediums catch up with the highs and the mediums mix, and that's kind of that. And the beginners start their trainings, they get their trainings going good, they mix with the mediums, and it's almost like a circulation of like a system going on there. You get me? But the thing is, you're all tied into the same community group. I just think that there's a lot of support coming from the music industry at the moment, from the rap scene of Ireland, and I just think that the film deserves the same, you know, and it's not getting what it deserves. So I think maybe it's probably gonna have to take, you know, yourself and a lot of other people to start. When this is fully established, it is established at the moment, but there's still a lot of there's no public eye on it of what we're actually doing at the moment. But when the public eye of it comes in, I think it's gonna just take a lot of time for yourself and a lot of other people to just share it around and try and get it as many people as possible onto it. And that's it. Like, I think that's basically where it's trying to go.
And so,
It's been a long conversation.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on here. It was
No, what I thought.
Yeah, I could listen
I know
to
how
you
good
talk for
times
hours.
I know, I'll let you go, Bobby. I'll burn the ears of it.
Okay, yeah, cool. So I'll leave all your links in the description below. And is there anything else you'd like to say before
Okay,
we
cool.
go off?
No, not really at all. Just you know, next time I probably get a barber to do your hair, man. You know, or maybe just shave the whole thing off. You should do that for your next show reel.
Maybe, yeah. I was considering filming this one, but
Yeah, get a two all over. Be nice.
I've done that before. Okay.
Oh God, I'll do it again. All right, go on. See you later, man.
See ya.
Peace out.
Love you. Take care.